There's nothing worse than to lie to yourself. And when you lie to yourself, you deceive yourself, and then you see the entire world through those lies that you keep telling to yourself. And in some sense, you cannot say truth to other people if you lie to yourself, because the entire idea of truth based on your own personal lie, your entire subjective reality is just one big lie. And therefore, how you can tell truth to someone if everything you know, everything you believe in is just a one huge lie? And that's what I used to do to myself. I used to lie a lot to myself. I created delusions, and I thought if I believe strong enough in those delusions, if I keep lying to myself to enforce those delusions upon my mind, they would become true, but they never did. The scary thing about lying to yourself is your lies never age, and you do. You become old, and you keep lying and lying and lying. And then you don't know how you can respect yourself after so many lies. It's really hard to respect yourself, because if you don't say truth any longer, then there is no respect to yourself. And with no respect for myself, how can I respect other people? It seems like you're stuck in disrespect of your own personal lies, and you know less and less truth about yourself. And if you don't know truth about yourself, how you can discover what you're capable of, what you're truly capable of? Because you have to find something within yourself that you truly love. But you cannot truly love something if everything within you based on lies. And then you're pursuing goals that weren't yours, based on the lies that were yours. In other words, everything around you just a lie, and there's nothing real in you. You create some lying simulation around yourself and about yourself and within yourself, and you try to propagate this simulation across other people, but people usually resist. They don't want to see your simulation, because your simulation doesn't make no sense, and there's no truth in that simulation. And it's really hard, because how you can discover truth within yourself after years of lying? That's what I'm struggling with, because I try to understand myself. I try to rediscover myself, because all my desires of the past were based on lies, were based on desires and wishes. I invented somehow thinking that the entire idea of a dream, in my opinion, was if I believe hard enough, this dream will come true. But I never look upon myself and trying to understand why I have this dream in the first place. What's the point to have this dream? Because if we dream about something, we have to understand how real this dream to myself. Like, is it possible to accomplish this dream or not? Is it worthy to spend your lifetime to pursuing this goal? Because our life is not endless. It's really short. And with the lies, it's getting even shorter. And it's so scary, because one day you wake up and you're old and you're incapable of anything, and you spend your entire years on something that's not even real, and everything around you is not real, and even you're not real any longer. I think the wisdom of this life to be able to discover truth within yourself. And once you discover truth within yourself, you have to fight for this truth, because that's all you've got. There's nothing worse than lies, self-deception. Because once you start on this path, on the path of self-deception, it's really hard to turn back. It's really hard to redefine yourself. It's really hard to find something real within you. Because It's like a circles of hell. The more you lie, the more you betray yourself, the less you have yourself. And eventually you're just the reflection of other people. And even worse, you're a reflection of other people's lies about you. You lie to them and they lie about you to you. It's like you reflect their own lie. You reflect your own lies through them and they reflect back your lies about you. And it's like a vicious circle, and in the end you don't know who you can trust and who you can blame. Because in the end you have to blame only yourself, but do you have enough truth to enforce this blame upon yourself? And that's why on a certain point you have to come to religion. You have to come to faith in God, because there's truth in this religion. And how you can find this truth? Through daily practice of rituals, through daily practice of prayers. Because maybe you can start prayers with the lies in your heart, because you've been living so long with those lies that you can't just rid of them in 1-2 days. But if you keep praying day after day, begging God to give you truth about yourself, maybe one day you start receiving this truth about yourself. Because if you keep lying to yourself, how you can able to recognize the beauty? Because the beauty only possible to be recognized by the one who's able to see the truth within yourself, because the truth about yourself is like a filter that helps you to recognize this beauty. And if you keep lying to yourself, there's no filter, and what you do, you just try to recognize fake beauty of others, because you have no opinion, since you don't have no truth about yourself. And with no truth and with no beauty, what's the point of life? And how are you supposed to trust yourself? Again, with so much betrayal of yourself, you're unable to trust yourself any longer, and your gut feeling that always scream at you about some ideas, the intuition within you that tells you where to go, you don't trust them either, because you become the enemy to yourself with the years of lying. It's really hard one day just to stop lying to yourself, because you stop recognizing yourself. You get used to those lies, and you're thinking that those lies all you have, and in some sense that's all you have. But once you accept the truth, once you start practicing the truth within yourself, then something changes in you, and you become much more miserable, because recognition of truth takes courage, takes pain, takes misery to adapt, because truth is brutal and it's unforgiving. It's like light. You need time to get used to light after living years in darkness, and sometimes you get blind, your eyes get hurt, but you need time, and with the patience and practice you start recognizing true objects by the means of that light. But if you refuse to take a look at the light, and if you prefer darkness because darkness is more familiar, then you will die in darkness. Keep lying about yourself, to yourself and to others. And I think there's nothing worse than lying. And it's really bad to lie to yourself, and we're all guilty of that. I'm guilty of that, because I lied to myself. I thought about myself in a different way than I'm thinking about myself right now. I thought of myself something that I never was, and I never had a chance to become, because there's such a limitation that I refuse to acknowledge because of the lies I keep telling to myself. Because when you keep telling lies to yourself, you don't test those limitations, because you don't want to test them. You don't want to face the truth. You don't want to keep overcoming some things, because you don't want to accept them in the first place. How truth works, you have to test your limitations. Okay, you want to accomplish certain goals, and you go toward these goals, and you go till the very end. You test them. You don't hide from reality. You test your goal against reality. You test your dreams against reality. And if they don't work, or if they break apart, then you try to glue them back together, try to rearrange them, and try again to test them against reality. But what lie does to you is you try, but improper. You make fake sacrifices because you don't want to test your dreams against reality. You test your dreams against your own lies, and your dreams are always win against your own lies because you don't test them against the truth. It's like facing your own lies, because you look at the mirror that distort your image into something that you wanna see yourself. And that's the problem, because one thing is to test your dreams against reality, and another thing, test your dreams against your own lies. It's like playing chess with yourself, because you always win. But once you start playing against reality, you might lose 99%, but it's enough 1% to win. And you have to bet on this 1% and keep doing again and again and again and again. And I always keep telling to myself, it doesn't matter how I feel, it's matter what I do when I don't feel well. Because that's what life is, facing reality, and keep walking, facing reality. And it's good to have dreams. It's the most important thing to have dreams, but you have to constantly test your dreams against reality. And if they break, you have to rearrange them and test them again until one day reality and your dream becomes the one, and that's where your dream comes true, and that's where you feel true accomplishment. Otherwise, there's nothing worse than to keep lying to yourself again and again and again, and in the end stop recognizing who you really are. And can you really die if you never lived, or if you refuse to live, or if you were too scared to live? I think people who are afraid to die is never lived. And if you truly live and you truly face reality, then you're not afraid of dying, because you knew life and you try hard to make your dreams come true.